My friend got possessed and crazy Ouija board experiences, which
Whoa.
is the double fucking whammy.
2 for 1.
When I was 16, my friend Joe and I decided to buy a Ouija board and try it together for the first time. She lived in an old farmhouse in the middle of the woods, and so we tried it in her room upstairs in the complete darkness with only small candles lit. First, we asked some basic questions like, what's your name? How old are you? And I can't remember the name or age, but it was an old man talking to us. I remember asking if he had any friends, and the planchette moved to no. Then I asked, do you want friends?
Well, that's an invitation.
The planchette started to move to yes, but then it stopped. Stopped on the blank space between yes and no, which I thought was really strange. Joe and I were sitting directly across from each other while using the board, and each had one hand on the planchette, and the planchette was pointing at her when it stopped. I was staring down at the planchette, and I asked, does that mean no? The planchette still didn't move. Neither did Joe. She didn't say anything or respond to my question. I was still looking down at the planchette, and I asked again, does that mean no? Still nothing. At that point, I looked up at Joe, and she was looking at me with a really sinister look on her face. I will never forget that look. Even 10 years later, her head was tilted down, eyes staring up at me. It looked like it wasn't even her anymore. The dim light of the candle cast a shadow on her face, and her bright blue eyes now looked dark.
Oh my God.
She looked pure evil, like she was going to attack me at any second. I thought maybe she had zoned out or something, so I look at her and I ask, hey, Joe, do you think that means no? Her evil stare continued, which then I started to freak out because I had never seen her act like this. I took my hand off the planchette and shook her shoulder really hard and yelled, Joe, because I started to think she was messing with me or something. After I shook her, she completely snapped out of it. Her face went back to its usual self, and she looked at me concerned because she saw the horrified look on my face and said, what? And I said, why were you looking at me like that? She yelled back, like what? This girl had no idea what I was talking about. I told her that I asked the same question 3 times, and she just sat there staring at me all creepy. And she was like, I didn't even hear you ask anything.
Oh my God. I literally forgot we pulled possession as the topic. I'm on the edge of my seat.
I believe that whoever we were talking to through the Ouija board was upset that they didn't have friends and wanted to possess Joe so that they would have a friend. Like, could you imagine if you and I were in the middle of a conversation and all of a sudden you were...
Would probably have to quit the podcast. I would become ultra religious. I'd only wear white shawls